In this video, I will discuss the Q4 FY25 result and Concall of SD Finserve. So SD Finserve is a NBFC doing supply chain financing, and if I talk about the business model of SD Finserve, they are mainly giving loans to the distributors. So let's take an example of APL Apollo. They are SD Finserve is a APL of Apollo group of company. Okay. So if I take an example that how the business model is working. Let's say APL Apollo, and APL Apollo makes steel pipes, steel products mainly. So if I see, they have some distributors who takes the goods from there, buys goods from the company and sell it to the retailers, and then retailers sell it to the consumer like you and I. Okay, that is the thing we all know. So what the distributor do, buy the product from the company and sell it to the retailers. So the distributors, let's say our distributor buys a product of around 10 crore from APL Apollo and sell it to the retailers, and between selling to the retailers and receiving the money there is a gap of 1 or 2 months, because the retailer will pay the distributors when that product sold to the customer, and they give the receivables of the distributors. Okay, so APL Apollo do what? APL Apollo gives incentive to the distributors if the distributors is doing cash and carry business with them. APL Apollo mainly offers 1% to 2% incentive to the distributor. So in the first case, the distributor is buying 10 crore of steel pipes from APL Apollo and sell it to the retailer. Okay, and after 1 month the distributor get the money from the retailer and pay it back to the APL Apollo. Here he is not getting any extra. But in the second case, what the distributor getting, they buys 10 crore of steel pipe from APL Apollo and they get an incentive of 10 to 20 lakh. Okay, and they sell it to the distributor. And in this case, let's say in an average, a APL Apollo distributor turn their capital around 7 to 8 times in a year. So that 1 or 2% becomes around 8 to 16% in a year. So if we see he is getting 16% incentive in a year if he doing the cash and carry business with APL Apollo. But the problem is what? That working capital of the distributor, that is the main problem. And here comes the SD Finserve solving this problem, because if the distributors go to a bank, the bank will offer them 16%, 17% kind of interest rate against this business. What SD Finserve is giving them a 12% interest rate against that money. So here if we see, the distributors is getting 16% of incentive from APL Apollo, and if I see SD Finserve giving them money at 12%. So they get 12% interest rate against 10 crore of loan. So they are getting 4% net. The distributors are getting 4% net incentive, because 16% is APL Apollos, and then SG Finserve takes 12%. So that is the thing SG Finserve is doing, and that is the business model. And the distributors also encourages because of that incentive. Okay, so that is the point with APL Apollo. And if we see, the SG Finserve is doing business with the big corporates who have lakhs of distributors in them. And if we see the opportunity, okay, if we see the opportunity, India is a 4 trillion GDP, and if I am not wrong, 40% of GDP comes from the top 50 companies in India. So that is the point SG Finserve is doing, that the supply chain financing mainly to the distributors, and they will start their business with retailers also, but in future. But for now they are giving loans to the distributors so that they can do cash and carry business and get some incentive. That is the main thing with SG Finserve. Okay, so if I see their geographical presence, they are doing their business all over India, and their 44% AUM comes from north, 30% AUM comes from south, 23% AUM comes from western India, and 3% of AUM comes from eastern India. So that is their geographical presence. And now I will talk about the result and the Concall. So in this quarter they have done a AUM of 2300 crore. But see, in this business, if we see the churning days, like the distributors is churning their money in about average is 30 to 35 days. So every 35 days the distributors takes money from SG Finserve, and after 35 days they pay money to SG Finserve. So in this business, the disbursement becomes more important against the AUM, because AUM is in the business what? That when the Q4 ends, what number of AUM or the loans are with distributors. Okay, and in this 90-day period, there is like 90 days. There is 90 days in a quarter, and if we see the churning day, that is around 30-35. So many loans, many distributor takes loan in the middle of 90 days and pay it back before end of the quarter. So that is the point in this business. That is why in the disbursement becomes more important in this business. So that is the thing. But yeah, they gives the AUM number. AUM number is nothing but like month end, quarter end number of loan outstanding. So that is the thing. So if we see AUM, they done a AUM of 2300. They gave a AUM guidance of 2500, and they touched the AUM of 2300. So it is like, yeah, good enough, not bad. And if we see the guidance for FY26, they are guiding us for 4000 crore for FY 26 4,000 crore AUM by FY26. And what they are saying about the guidance, that in this quarter, if we see, they added 705 crore of AUM. They added, because last quarter the AUM number was around 1600, and now that is 2300 crore. So they added 750 crore of AUM in this quarter. And if they want to reach 4,000 crore of AUM, what they need to do? They need to add 400 crore AUM per quarter. But already in this quarter they have added 750 crore of AUM. So what they are saying, they are mainly saying that, yeah, we have done 750 crore of AUM in this quarter, and we need 400 crore AUM to reach the 4,000 mark. That is why we can overachieve the 4,000 crore of AUM in this year. Mainly they will target 500 crore of AUM addition per quarter. So if we calculate 500 crore of AUM addition, so the AUM will become around 4,300 crore by the end of the year. So that is the AUM guidance, that their target is 4,000 crore, but they may overachieve it. That is the thing. And for FY27, their target is to achieve the AUM of 6,000 crore. So that is the AUM guidance. And if we see the disbursement guidance, they have done a disbursement of 5,000 crore in this quarter, increase of 10% quarter on quarter and 14% year on year. Last quarter they have done a disbursement of 46,000 crore, 4,600 crore of disbursement. And yeah, last quarter, I think in Q2 they have given the guidance of reaching 5,000 crore. Yeah, reaching 5,000 crore disbursement in FY25. So yeah, they have done that in this quarter. Last quarter they were just few hundred crore short. That can happen in any business. So they are achieving their targets. That is the one of the main thing, best thing with SG Finserve. So that is the disbursement number for their quarter. They achieved their guidance, what they have given in Q2 FY25. And what they are guiding us, that they are saying that when they will reach 4,000 crore AUM, by then they will be need to give they will need a disbursement of 9,000 to 10,000 crore per quarter. So as we see, 4,000 crore AUM means in the end of this year, and the disbursement of around, they will do a disbursement of around 9,000 to 10,000 crore. So that is around 2x increase in 1 year. So disbursement number is also good. What they are guiding us, they are guiding us for 2x disbursement in 1 year. So that is a good number. And if we see the PAT number, they have done a PAT of 24 crore PAT, 24 crore of PAT in this Q4 FY25. And PAT is flat year on year and quarter on quarter. There is nothing much change. Why there is nothing much change in the PAT? Because they are saying that last quarter the promoters provide the company some cheap loans, in a very cheap rate. That is why the interest component was lesser in last quarter, but in this quarter the interest component is absolutely independent, because in this quarter they have got the loans from the bank. So in this quarter SG Finserve done a PAT independently. There is no help from the promoters of the Apollo Group, APL Apollo Group. So that is the thing with PAT. And if I talk about the guidance, they are giving a guidance of around 200 crore in FY26 and 300 crore by FY27, and they are saying that every quarter they will increase the PAT by 10 to 12 crore. So next quarter they will do 35 crore of PAT. Then in Q2 they will do 45 crore of PAT. Then 55, 65. So by this they will achieve the 200 crore of PAT in FY26, and in FY27 it should be around 300 crore mark. So that is the PAT guidance, and that is good enough. If we see last quarter, I mean Q4 FY26, the PAT should be around 65 crore, and in this quarter they have done a PAT of 25 crore, and so around I mean 3x kind of PAT they are expecting in the next Q4. So that is the important thing. The growth should be good if they manage to achieve this guidance. And if I talk about the ROE is around 9% in this quarter, and they are guiding us for 18% of ROE by FY27. Leverage, if I talk about the leverage, that is around 1x 1.5x leverage if I am not wrong, and they will go up to 4x leverage, and that will achieve in FY27. So that is the leverage point. So for next 2 years there is no need for equity raise. And see, SG Finserve is a part of a very big group, so they can get equity anytime, okay, and they can leverage it further if they decide to. But here in last call they have said that as APL Apollo is a conservative group, so for now they are thinking of 4x leverage at max. So that is the leverage number. And if I talk about the spread, they are mainly giving their portfolio yield arouse, I mean their portfolio yield is around 12.5%, their borrowing cost is around 8.5%, and they are getting a spread of 4%. And last few quarters the spread was also in the level of 4%, and so the spread is maintained, and they have said that they will maintain the spread of 4%, and that is the spread. And if I talk about the opportunity beyond FY27, what the management is saying that beyond FY27, see, as I said earlier, that India is a $4 trillion economy. So the opportunity in supply chain financing is huge, absolutely huge. So there is no there is absolutely opportunity everywhere in the country, and they are mainly catering to APL Apollo Group. They are with Tata also, Tata Group, JSW. They have entered with Havels in this quarter. So there is many opportunity in this country, and that is the main thing with this company working in this field. And if I talk about the next level opportunity, they are talking about that they are now lending to whom? Just the distributors. Okay, they are giving loans to the distributors now, but in future they will do the retail financing also. I mean, what I have said, that the distributors buys from the company and sell it to the retailers, so they can finance the retailer also in the same supply chain. Because if we see there is no extra risk, because if the distributors is getting the money, paying the money to the Finserve, it means what? The retailers, the shopkeepers are also able to return the money to the distributors. Okay, so Finserve can also give loan to the retailers so that they can increase their business. So the supply chain is the same. If we see APL Apollo is a company, then the distributors buys product from APL Apollo and then sell it to the retailers. If the retailers is not able to pay the money to distributors, how the distributor will pay the money back to APL, SD Finserve? There is no chance. But what they are saying, the distributors are not they are distributors from years. There is no NPA, there is no gross NPA, there is no default. Because if we see SD Finserve is a 2-year-old company, if I am not wrong, they are in this business after COVID. So, but the distributors are with APL Apollo for longer period of time, 10 years, 15 years, but they have said that not even one distributor have defaulted the money before when APL Apollo do business of they sell the product to the distributor and they receive the money after 30-60 days. After 30-60 days, so even then the distributor have not defaulted. And if we see the business also, there is no NPA in the business for last 2 years, 3 years, whenever they have started. So that is the main thing. And if we see other groups also, they are mainly Finserve mainly gives loan to the distributors who are with those big corporates for years, like 5 year, 10 year, 15 year with the business. Okay, so they have a good level of business, they have a big business. And if we see the MOU and all, if the distributor defaults, what will happen to the distributor? They have a MOU with the corporates that the corporate will not give further products, more products to sell. They have to stop giving the product supply. They have to stop supply to the distributor. So what happens if the distributor will default? The livelihood of the distributors comes to the question. Okay, so that is the main thing. And see what I was saying, that APL Apollo is selling the products to the distributors and distributors then sell the product to the retailers. And if the distributors are not defaulting, that means what? That means that retailer also are not defaulting to the distributors. They are paying their money timely, or what happens? They are mainly paying the money timely to the distributors. So what is the extract from here? The retailers also good in the business, established in the business. So that is the main thing. That is the thing which the company management is saying, that we are giving loans to the distributors now, and if we do lending to the retailers, there is no extra risk. So that is the thing. We have to see that how the business will go in the future. But yeah, if you ask me, there is a immense potential in the business in the future. If they want to grow their AUM, they can whatever number they want. That is the main thing. And see, the gross NPA number is absolutely zero for last few quarters. There maybe was some NPA around 11 lakhs. So that is nothing against a number they are disbursing in last few quarters. So that is the thing we have to see, that where the business will go in the future. But if you ask me, the business is going in a right direction. The business is going in the right direction. So that is the main thing with this business. And if I see the valuation also, the valuation is not too much rich. That is under control, absolutely under control. Valuation may get better with the time when the ROE will become in the higher side, from the 9% to 15%, 18%. If they want, they can do 20%, because it is a APL Apollo group company. So that is the thing. So that's it for the video.